Hello guys, and welcome to XHUB Gaming and a further video on my channel related to my ongoing Kings of Men season. It's now been 7 days since the server started, so I wanted to provide another update to show how things have progressed, as in the last few days since we took capitals, the server has progressed quite dramatically. First up, I'll show us through the map. As you can see, last time we updated, we took the first capital, which was Orthanc here. And we suspected that the second capital, Numinas, would be taken the same day, which it was about 2 hours later. So that left both us, Home, who took Orthanc, and TOBE, who took Numinas, left to establish a kingdom, which took 24 hours and came into effect yesterday. When that happened, obviously all regions that we controlled through gaining the scout towers and also the keeps fell into our control. Similarly here, you can see that the TOBE and XHUB clans have taken, and I think SDCC as well, have taken, a larger number of keeps than we have at the minute. So they'll be getting benefits from that. But then we also are surrounded by higher level keeps being the issue, rather than 160 power keeps. You'll also notice on the map that we have changed position. We are no longer sat in Durin's Vale. We have now moved to Minhiriath. That's due to ongoing conflicts, which I will update on a little bit later on. For now though, we'll just quickly run through various different progress points. Chapter progression wise, we have progressed onto chapter 6, but this requires 45 control points to be taken across the server, which is very unlikely I think, as all of the top 6 fellowships at the moment are engaged in the conflict I mentioned earlier, so it's likely that this will time out in 3 days' time. Ranking wise, you can see we're still rank 8 as far as personal ring level goes, though we've fallen quite a long way away from the top couple here. Reason for that being, if you look at our production, we've slipped all the way down to 78th, whereas we were previously sitting in the top 10 for quite a long time. There's kind of a mixed reason for that. Last couple of days I've been sat around the 20s mark, because I'm not a big fan of taking the effigy tiles. Whilst they can be useful for gaining power, they gain you no resources, and I prefer to have resources to continue progressing our keep and also continue building troops. So I didn't take those, so I did slip further and further behind when people hit the commander levels able to take those kind of tiles. The other reason is, due to ongoing conflicts, I have lost about 20 tiles, and they're usually quite big tiles as well. So we've lost a quite significant amount of production, though we're still sat around the 20k mark, so it's not like we're struggling for resources. Fellowship-wise, similarly, we have slipped down. You've seen in the first day that Home did take quite a significant large advantage in the early farming. We have now fallen down to 2nd place behind XHUB, and we also have TOBE and SDCC hot on our tails as well. Primarily that's due to current lack of farmlands. We need areas that we can kind of expand into, which we don't have a huge amount of at the moment. But you can also see that Power and Drum are also just behind in 5th and 6th as well, which are the 2 other fellowships that make up our kingdom. So at the minute you can see production-wise we are a little bit of a disadvantage to the 2B kingdom, and also a disadvantage due to the lack of keeps. So at the minute things are not fully in our favour. Now as far as movements in the map go, you'll see that we have moved here due to ongoing conflicts around Minhiriath. The reason for that was when this was a region originally that Power spawned in, and it's not really my cup of tea, but the TOBE and XHUB clans decided to push through this bugged tile here. So if you see, it's meant to be across a river, but there's nothing stopping you from leaping across the river, which is not really to my taste, but I suppose it's in the game. If they want to use that, then so be it. So they jumped across the river and started attacking Power, and I believe they got down to around this tile here with Power putting up a defence. Drum then came in as well to try and reinforce, and hold them off at very short notice, which they did well. And then they held for a couple of hours, and then after that, home came in, and we've relocated a few of us down here to kind of deal with the issue. So as you can see, now that most scrapping, we've taken a few of these big tiles here, back off them as well. You can see most scrapping is now occurring just around this this glitched crossing point. Just a little bit of back and forth, various people reinforcing, but that's the bulk of the conflict at the minute. Other kind of conflict areas are again involving home. We've had round near our spawn here, the crossing into Cardalan. We previously had farmed the majority of this land around here. You see we still have some tiles outstanding, and we still have personal tiles here as well. This is where primarily I've lost most of my production, as a lot of these SDCC players, which is who's attacking us here, have been kind of cleaning up this area slowly but surely, so that's where we're losing the majority of our tiles. So currently home's kind of squeezed by all three clans of the opposing kingdom. We do have support obviously from Power, who spawned in this area, and Drum, who both did a great job halting their progress at the time, and also are building around various areas to make sure that SDCC and various other clans cannot push into our lands as well. As you can see up here as well, I believe there's another crossing, which, yep, there we go. So there's plenty of flash points. We also have this crossing up here in Eurasian, or Region, however it's pronounced, where SDCC had kind of pushed in the middle of our conflicts elsewhere and got right up to Rise Up Here's base. However, the rest of the team responded magnificently to shift themselves across the map and take most of this back and make it safe. So you can see a lot of players are relocated on this border. So at the minute it's just kind of floating around. There's little bits of skirmishing, but not a massive conflict. The only real serious conflict so far was this one here, which we were successful in pushing back. But it's worth noting that TOBE and XHUB had been fighting Power and Drum for a lot of that day as well. So potentially we're a little bit lower on troops, and you can see people are just having a bit of a back and forth here as well. Personal conflict-wise, we haven't had a huge amount. We've had a few kind of skirmishes on this area. I was offline for a couple of hours, just before this actually. And you can see that's the time they chose to decide to hit through. But we had a few good reports like this on this Gil-galad. And similarly, with half an army, a good report against King of Men. And then with less than half an army, we're not expected to win this. But Gandalf again did well. And then we got absolutely stomped by a Theoden here. High-level Theoden, and using the Shire Protectors, which I think we're going to see more and more of used by this kingdom, as of course the Arnor Ann's lands do contain a lot of these units, and they are fabulous units. If you see, the majority of his damage came from these units. We are utilising War Drummers now as well, though I need a little bit more gold, which should come this weekend to get them fully upgraded. But yeah, War Drummers and Alchemists tend to be quite a good combination. They work perfectly well here, just not quite so well on the second hit. But that's about all of the all of the fighting we've had. Otherwise, it's just a case of fighting and farming and being ready for whenever this push comes, because I believe both XHUB and TOBE have both declared war as well, which they have, yeah. So XHUB currently has 12 hours of remaining war, and TOBE has almost its full war buff, and ours will come into effect in approximately 4 hours-ish as well. So there should be plenty more fighting on the next update, which I'll try and get recordings of. Hopefully we can get them away from this kind of bugged area. As I said, I'm not a particularly fan of it. I prefer fighting over actual crossing points, but each to their own. And yeah, until there, it's going to be a case of just keeping things moving and building. As far as building our keep up goes, we're doing reasonably well. We've got Main Hall 9 building so far, which puts us slightly behind some people, as we spent a lot of resources on troops. But otherwise we have, Embassy 7 and Academy 8, and our tributes are quite high as well to make sure we keep those resources coming in. And it's just a case of keeping these running as much as possible so that we can get the advantage of better troops or quicker troop conscription as soon as possible. But yeah, I just wanted to drop you guys an update. Hopefully you've enjoyed that so far. I will try and get some recordings of the conflicts as and when they come. So then I can give you guys an update on when this server really kicks off, how it moves going forward. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like. I would really appreciate it. And if you enjoy this content and want to see more from my season, please hit the subscribe button to see my videos coming up in future. Anyway, with that, that's everything I have to give you. So I really hope to see you on the next one.